Ladies and gentlemen, would we please join me in welcoming the Lakeland High School class of 2020. Let's hear it for the support of this class.
Good evening, friends and family, teachers and administrators, and good evening to the Lakeland High School graduating class of 2020. My name is Sarah Boyer, and I have had the honor of serving as the Lakeland High School Associated Student Body President for the past year. It is with great pride that I welcome you to today's ceremony. At this time, would you please direct your attention to the flag and join us in honoring our country as Shastine Huddleston, Kate Johnson, and Samantha Pennick perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Nice job, ladies.
Like I am sure many of you, at the beginning of the year when senioritis began to set in, I was contemplating whether or not I would be able to finish the year and walk at graduation. As the year started to come to a close, I still was worried I would not be able to walk at graduation, but because of something new, some weird virus, you may have heard of it, it's called COVID-19. I just wanted to point out how lucky we all are to be here today and give a big thank you to everyone who made this possible. In a way, our graduation is symbolic of how the class of 2020 has gone through many things together, but gotten through it together in the end. We overcame the meanies in Sandpoint by bringing home the paddle 2 years in a row. We overcame the switch to 5-day college classes by skipping classes and bribing teachers. Just kidding, Mr. Derrick. We overcame school culture norms by beating the seniors at homecoming our junior year. We overcame being banned from senior pranks before our senior year even started by ditching the last 3 months of high school. And finally, we overcame all the challenges and struggles that come from 4 years of high school education by making it here today. I wouldn't want to spend this unique graduation with anybody else. Congratulations on making it this far, and as we all progress with our lives after high school, let us remember the work we put in to graduate with our peers as the legendary class of 2020. It is now my pleasure to introduce the individuals on the stage, Mr. Rob Irons from the Board of Trustees, and from the Lakeland Administration, Ms. Lisa Sexton, the Lakeland School District Assistant Superintendent, and Mr. Trent Derrick, the Lakeland Principal, to whom I will now turn the time over to.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah's our ASB president, just did a wonderful job this year. Really appreciate everything she's done. To start out, I just want to thank some people at this time. I'd like to start out and just say thank you to Panhandle Health District, the Kootenai County Fairgrounds, Angel Audio, Amped Entertainment, Second Wind Productions, Impact Lighting, and our school district for making this opportunity possible for our graduates. I also want to thank Madison Badgett, who created the senior slideshow with the cute baby pictures that we were able to see when we came into the to the fairgrounds here this evening. She was assisted by Kyle Woodward. Big thanks to Sydney Singer and assisted by Mrs. Knoll for putting together the 2020 senior send-off video that you guys had in your program. There's a little QR code you can use and watch that. And also want to thank the Josh Brandt Foundation for all the things that they did to make this senior year at the end of the year special by donating things for the banners and for pictures. And finally, the senior parents. You guys have just done an outstanding job just putting together so many things, being so creative, and how we could figure out, you know, what do we do in this unique situation. We also have 3 teachers, amazing teachers, who have committed their careers to our students at Lakeland High School. These 3 retirees have a combined experience in the teaching field of just under 90 years. And we will miss each one, as each has contributed so much to our school. They are Debbie Kimmerling, 14 years at Lakeland High School, 29 years in the district teaching math and computer science. Mr. Mario Matti, teaching 25 years at Lakeland High School, biology and chemistry. And Miss Danielle Bean, who taught 33 years here at Lakeland High School her entire career, teaching algebra, yearbook, and journalism. Thank you for giving so much to our students, and we wish you, obviously, the very best in your retirement. That's right. At this time, would our salutatorians and valedictorians just come up to the ramp? We want to recognize our salutatorians. As they're coming up, I just want to say a few things about them. Our salutatorians are students who have achieved at a very high level academically, finishing with the 2nd highest rank in their class. Our salutatorians completed their high school careers receiving A's in every subject with the exception of 1. And each of them had a little different class, and they have a little story about why that was the case. But outstanding job. They're outstanding students. They're outstanding young men and ladies, and all of them will do exceptionally well after high school. So would you go ahead and make your way just kind of right up to the ramp, top of the ramp here. So I'm going to just state their name, and Miss Lisa Sexton, our assistant superintendent, is going to provide the medal that they're going to receive. And then if we could get a picture as well of them as also. So our first salutatorian is Miss Jessica Daniels. Jessica Daniels is going to Jacksonville University in Florida. She'll be majoring in marine biology and wants to be a marine biologist. Jessica? Yeah, right, yeah. Our next salutatorian is Mr. Ronan Edwards. Ronan's going to be going to the United States Air Force Academy, and he'll be studying aeronautic engineering and has plans to become a commercial pilot. Our next salutatorian is Malia LaFleur. Malia is going to be going to NIC. She's planning on majoring in biology. Our next salutatorian is Nick Knowles. Nick will be going Nick will be going to the University of Idaho. He is going to major in engineering and wants to be an engineer. And our final salutatorian is Miss Jennifer Wirtz. Jenny is planning to go to Lewis Clark State College. She is going to major in physical therapy to be a physical therapist. The next three students are being honored for being this class's valedictorians. They have achieved at the highest level academically. The three students that are valedictorians have achieved A's in every class they have taken at Lakeland High School. And at this time, I will ask each of our valedictorians to come up to receive their medal, after which they will give their student address. And our first valedictorian is Miss Brittany Boyer. Brittany is going to Brigham Young University in Utah. She has not decided yet what she wants to major in. She will figure it out when she gets there.
Well, to be honest with you all, it kind of feels like I'm about to give a TED Talk at one of the worst tailgating parties I've ever been to. No one even brought a barbecue, you guys. Come on. Anyways, speaking of tailgating parties, does anyone remember the tailgating party we had last year? It didn't last long because we got kicked out of the high school parking lot and then moved to the McDonald's parking lot and got kicked out of there. But it was fun while it lasted. This memory, along with countless others from 4 years of high school, has made me realize what is important to me in my life. I'm speaking to you today as one of your valedictorians. Although I'm honored to be speaking to you today, this award is not the most meaningful thing I will be taking from Lakeland High School. The experiences and the people I have created relationships with over the past 4 years has impacted my life more than any school subject. This quote from one of my favorite movies, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, says, "To see the world, things dangerous to come to see behind walls, draw closer, to find each other and to feel." That is the purpose of life. From my experiences, I have come to realize that what is important in life are the opportunities we take advantage of and the people we spend our time with. I've had countless experiences and memories with many of my peers at Lakeland. I will always look back on trips down to Boise for leadership in basketball, soup day in Miss Hall's class, going to endless lip sync practices, and waking up way too early to decorate way too many hallways. However, most of you probably don't want to sit and listen to me reminisce about my high school experiences because you do not relate to the experiences that I had. But what you can relate to is the experiences that you had with the friends and peers around you. Although there are some things we experienced together, like winning Battle for Paddle, or the whole day we sat in lockdown wondering if it was real or not, even the things we experienced together, we have all taken away different memories from these moments. My point being is I'm sure we all had times in high school that we struggled or really did not enjoy school. However, one takeaway that we all share is the little moments and memories that are unique and personal to all of us. I want you to think right now of a moment from the past 4 years that you enjoyed. Even if you joked about hating school every day or actually hated school every day, try to find in your mind a single moment from the last 4 years that you enjoyed. Maybe it was winning a sports game, playing your piece perfectly in a band concert, going to a football game, or just enjoying a dad joke from Mr. Keating. Now I want you to think about who is with you in that moment. Maybe your best friend you've known since you were a kid, or a supportive teacher, one of your close classmates, or someone you don't know super well but enjoy their company. For me, in most of these moments, it was not just the incredible experience that was important, but the people that were with me in those moments. Winning the Battle for Paddle was way more significant because of the people I got to celebrate it with. Making it through calculus was possible and even fun in some moments because of my classmates and Miss Matilla. Hold on to the experiences and the people from the moments you remember in high school, even if it is just in memory. As we all continue our future paths, let us remember not just our friends and experiences from high school, but the importance of taking advantage of the opportunities around us and making connections. Finally, I would like to take the time to thank some of the important people in my life. Thank you to my parents and amazing siblings for always being there and supporting me. Thank you to all my teachers and the administrators who have impacted my life in so many ways. Thank you to my friends for always being a light in my life. And thank you to my peers and classmates for making the last 4 years the best yet. I'd like to end with a quote from Abraham Lincoln. Long live the class of 2020, and good luck to Lakeland High School, because the best class is left.
Our next valedictorian is Mr. Luke Ryan. Luke is planning on going to Seattle Pacific University. He is going to major in political science, and he also is not quite sure what he wants to do for a career yet. So, Mr. Luke Ryan.
Hello, fellow graduates of the class of 2020. My name is Luke. We good? And I am a class valedictorian. Like many of you, I've been waiting to graduate since the moment I entered high school as a freshman. I was pretty sure it was during those first classes that senioritis began to prematurely take its toll on me. Coming out of junior high, I was totally unprepared for the vigors of freshman English and Mrs. Kimberling's geometry class. I learned for the first time that I actually had to work to do well in school. I'm sure that many, if not all of you, can relate to this challenging transition. As hard as this year was for us, though, there's always been a light at the end of the tunnel, graduation. Through the grind of writing essays for Miss Hall and listening to Mr. Keating's dad jokes, this was the thought that kept me going. I pictured myself one day doing something to the effect of reciting the speech from Billy Madison, walking across the stage, and finally grabbing that diploma, at last free from the torture chamber that I believed high school to be. Graduation, I thought, was the one thing that was certain. And then this happened. What began as a far-off disease in China that sounded like the name of a beer turned into a challenge to my preconceived notion that graduation would be a certainty. One by one, all of the memories that should have been made in this last part of this year were taken from us. We have lost our sports seasons, our activities, our friends, and our senior pranks. Unless this is all just the biggest senior prank of all time, in which case, guys, I think it's gone a little bit too far. However, in spite of these losses and worries that graduation, too, would be stolen from us, we've made it. Today, we're here to celebrate the achievements of all of us, all the classes we took, all the people we've met, and all the memories we've made. Through the good times and through the bad, everything from the past 12 years has led up to this moment. We've accomplished many things during our high school careers, from winning that close game in the fourth quarter to playing perfectly in that crescendo in that concert, to somehow not failing that one class where the teacher seemed bent on making it as hard as possible. Hi, Miss Matilla. But all these amazing achievements have led up to the greatest high school accomplishment of all. We fought all of the battles, and now we're finally here at graduation. So what's next? As great as it is that high school is over, it's a bittersweet moment, because unless you're like me and plan to spend the rest of your life in your parents' basement, sometime in the next year you'll be stepping out into the uncertainty of adulthood. Whether our plans are to go to college, a trade school, the military, or straight into the workforce, we will, to some degree, be on our own. As daunting as this may be for some of us, I believe that after everything the class of 2020 has been through, we will be able to face any challenges that throw themselves our way. I've seen firsthand that as a class, we've accomplished a lot of great things. We beat last year's seniors in the homecoming competition, as well as taking the victory this year. We secured the paddle 2 years straight by winning the battle for the paddle on Sandpoint's home turf, and we all managed to graduate despite having to do the last 2 months of school from home. All of the adversity we have come out on top of as a class has given me the belief that each and every one of us will be successful in whatever we want to do. Before I go, there are many people I want to thank. I want to thank all of the great teachers and coaches that have given me the tools I will need for my future. I especially want to give a shout out to Mrs. Paradis, Mr. Coles, Mrs. Huey, Mrs. Ross, Mrs. Hegbloom, Mr. Neff, Mrs. Schilling, Mrs. Haas, Mr. Allison, Mrs. Novak, Mrs. Matilla, Mr. Anderson, the Halls, Mr. Keating, Coach Hoffman, Coach Kiefer, Coach Haney, and Coach Carvajal. I want to thank all of you. And I want to thank Mr. Derrick for his steadfast leadership throughout these uncertain times. I want to thank my family for being there for me through all the ups and downs the past 4 years. My parents, Bill and Lorraine, are the two smartest people I've ever met, and I know I wouldn't be up here without them. I want to thank my sister and best friend, Katie, for being with me throughout the entire journey. And finally, I want to thank all of you. Whether you knew me or not, as classmates, we faced countless challenges side by side over the course of 4 years, and I know that we'll all go on to achieve great things. As chemistry genius Mr. Jones once wisely said, we are the hard-pressing future rulers of the universe. Thank you.
That's right. Just stay on that X right there, and we'll get a picture. Our next valedictorian is Miss Ayana Gabrielle Sapp. Ayana's going to Washington State University. She is going to major in biochemistry, bioengineering, and wants to be a biomedical engineer.
The physicist Stephen Hawking once said that intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. Now, many of you may think that being a valedictorian requires some level of intelligence, and while you wouldn't be wrong for thinking so, you may perhaps be thinking of intelligence in the wrong way. Intelligence is not only the ability to memorize material, not only knowing the correct answer right after the teacher asks. Intelligence is our ability to work within our environment and our circumstances. Intelligence is critical thinking in the way that one is able to derive solutions from seemingly impossible questions. Being humans, we are inherently intelligent creatures who have evolved from animals that learned how to sharpen bones to make tools and use sticks and strings to hunt and trap prehistoric beings. We are all intelligent from the time we are born to the time we learn how to stack blocks, to the time we learn how to climb trees and solve complex math. And we have adapted to our surroundings using this intelligence with buildings and computers and air conditioning. But the main point I want to make is the idea that intelligence is not rated in the amount of awards you have, whether you were valedictorian in high school or not. Intelligence is learned and derived using the mind that evolution provided you with. And whether you think so or not, you are intelligent. You survived high school, and you are going to prosper. Because the most beautiful thing in this life is the intelligence to make your own decisions. So I would like you to go out there and make your own choices. Show the world that you are intelligent, and you very well know it.
At this time, if I could direct your attention to the screens, we have a video of our senior a cappella choir, and they're going to sing the rendition of the song, "Will the Circle Be Unbroken?"
If
Thank you, all the valedictorians in your speeches, as well as the senior a cappella choir. Graduating class of 2020, I've got big hopes for you. Big hopes from the standpoint that you obviously have had a lot of significant achievements, and we want to celebrate those tonight. Perhaps one of the most significant ways we see, or we have seen, this class's exceptional capacity for greatness is in how others have viewed them. And this past Tuesday, during our senior awards night, this class was awarded close to $7 million in scholarships, which averages out to over $36,000 per graduate. You know, earlier in the week, I heard another school that was a little larger than ours, and they only had $2.5 million, just saying. So congratulations. You guys are awesome in that regard. Many of our students also, they've jump-started their college career by earning their college credits while in high school. You'll see these students as they cross the stage. They're going to be donning the silver cords, indicating they have already completed 12 or more college credits. Silver and maroon cords will be worn by those who have earned 26 or more college credits. And two of our graduates, Michaela Hageman and Montana Robbins, were honored in the North Idaho College graduation, receiving their Associate of Arts degree even before they're graduating from high school. Congratulations. "21 of you have already demonstrated you are ready for the workforce by completing the industry standard requirements at K-Tech, and we recognize you as you are wearing the black and silver intertwined cords, stating that you're ready to go into the workforce immediately. Congratulations to you. And we have 10 students who are going to be wearing a red, white, and blue intertwined cords, signifying that they have made the commitment to honor our country by serving in one of its military branches. I'm going to state them by name. They are Shay Alley, Justin Dennison, Andrew Johnson, Stanley Coho, Gage Mattern, Shelby McIntosh, Edward Nauman, Joel Zakin, and with 2 students accepted by congressional appointment into the U.S. Air Force Academy, Erica Gallus and Ronan Edwards. Congratulations and thank you. Class of 2020. The phrase that keeps coming to my mind as I reflect on all of you is the phrase, "for such a time as this." You have completed your high school journey during a time when the word unprecedented is often used as our communities and country search for a roadmap to direct our steps in the midst of the uncertainties of the coronavirus pandemic and tensions stemming from a divided America. You were born in the wake of 9/11, another time when we were searching for answers and our nation sought stability. I believe that you are a class that has been placed into this unique time, and perhaps you are a class that is destined to lead our nation into a new era of strength. As we look at history, we see some striking parallels with past generations who were asked to do the same. 4 generations ago, in 1940, our nation was on the verge of facing challenges that could also be considered unprecedented. I find it ironic that you are graduating on June 6th, 76 years to the day of when we sent thousands of Americans to storm the beaches of France to solidify the ideals of this country. It was that generation, some 80 years ago, that was asked to carry the heavy load of liberation. On that day, FDR addressed the nation with a prayer, saying, "Almighty God, our sons, pride of our nation, this day have set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization, and to set free a suffering humanity. Lead them straight and true, give strength to their arms, stoutness to their hearts, steadfastness to their faith. It was in these challenging times that that generation rose up, leading our nation into a new era, and they later became to be known in our day as the greatest generation. 4 generations prior to those days, in 1860, it was another generation that was asked to bring our nation out from the brink of collapse. Our country was fractured, polarized, lost, searching for an identity. President Lincoln in the Gettysburg Address reminded those gathered on that sacred ground that our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. And later in his address, he emphasized, this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. It was again a generation of young people like yourselves, finding itself in an unprecedented time, needing to find a way to lead its nation into a new era of strength, unity, and resiliency. And as we go back another 4 generations to 1780, we find a generation on the eve of the Revolutionary War that is birthing a new nation from an ideal articulated in the Declaration of Independence that declares, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they were endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It was a generation committed to these ideals and willing to embrace the struggle that formed a nation that still stands today. It was a generation that also found itself in unprecedented times. But they found a way to navigate a path to a greater strength and freedom than had ever been known before. The generations of 1780, 1860, 1940, and now 2020 have all lived in what could be called unprecedented. I believe this class, starting with this generation, will rise up and find a way to lead us into a new era of strength, resiliency, and freedom, as the generations that have gone before us have done. Perhaps you may be known one day as the generation that preserved these great ideals that conceive this nation. May you take up this mantle. I believe you can. With courage, strength, and resolve. My prayer for you echoes the words of FDR, Almighty God, lead them straight and true. Give strength to their arms, stoutness to their hearts, and steadfastness in their faith for such a time as this. For them to do this well, we need to support and do our part as adults. Let's be an example, and let's live with that same purpose. So class of 20, I leave you with that charge. I have high hopes, confidence, and look forward to what you're going to accomplish as you take on that challenge. So tonight is a celebration for our graduates. So I ask at this point, before we start with the commencement of the diplomas, let's show them our support again. Honk your horn, yell it, shout it. Let them know how proud you are of them. So, Mr. Irons, we're about ready to get started. So, Assistant Superintendent Ms. Sexton and Lakeland Board of Trustees and Vice Chairman Mr. Irons, The Lakeland High School class of 2020 has met the graduation requirements of Lakeland High School, Lakeland School District, and the state of Idaho. It gives me great pleasure to present them to you and certify them as ready for graduation.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Lakeland School District 272, I accept your certification of the class of 2020. You may proceed with the awarding of the diplomas.
Kaylin Elizabeth Sexton. Madison Van Gelder. Keely DeVore. Bailey Hatcher. David Walter. Dylan Bishop. Emily Harwood. Grace Marcella. Ayana Sapp. Ashley LaFleur. Malia LaFleur. Hunter Stocking Barkley. Ryan James. Taylor Clements. Benjamin Zubaili. Ryan Quimby. Joel Zakin. Alexander Lycan. Sydney Singer. Bryce Smithson. Johnny Sullivan. Vanner Hegbloom. Melody Lautzenheiser. Tayson White. Tristan Clift. Justin Dennison. Tyler Pemberton. Nicholas Knowles. Colton Aragon. Brandon Fury. Matthew Foley. Colton Becker. Michaela Joe Olson. Abigail Thomason. Harrison Kiefer. Trevor Vandeveer. Isaac Silva. Bridger Peterson. Alexa Els. Parker Lee. Tyler Elizondo. Jenna Oliver. Eric Sasson. Sarah Pope. Catherine Johnson. Haley Tingy. Darby McDevitt. Christopher Coho. Austin Cordell. Tyler McCandless.
Good job, Tyler. Way to go. That's right.
Cole Stevens.
Good job, Cole.
Jared Williams. Joshua Skrabeck. Tyler Parks. Jessica Daniels. Alice Borg. Sarah Boyer. Luke Ryan.
Travis Derrick. Jennifer Wirtz. Laurel Langendorfer. Ronan Edwards. Erica Gallus. Max Arno. Colin Bell. Jesus Ayala. Devin Toussaint. Montana Robbins. Douglas Nosworthy. Jocelyn Cheney. Samantha Pennick. Michaela Hageman. Nicole Hendricks. Acacia Werner. Hunter Shep. Madison Strope. From Slovakia, Agata Mangilova. Abigail McKibben. Alexis Hamburger. Alyssa Hamburger. Kelsey Brumbles. Bailey Broadwater. Laura Larson. Mackenzie Kuykendall. Seneca Hedari. Holly Leonard. Riley Rushing. Christian Brunko. Colton Isbell. Raiden Lyons. Talon Miller. Stanley Coho. Tanner Korst. Colby O'Neill. Caden Polinook. Kyle Brooks. Andrew Johnson. Charles Freitas. Allison Chatterton. Nicole Cheney. Jasmine Henry. Shelby Bohall. Kansas Haugen. Hannah Cope. Savannah Moffitt. Angelina Delcompt. Michaela Nutterville. Shastine Huddleston. Kendall Miller. Austin Russell. Luke Snyders. Nicholas Clark. Ezra Grigg. Matthew Delcompt. Jacob Paddock Bentley. Emma Parker. Chase Ostrander. Kyle Woodward. Haley Huntsman. Angelique Box. Abigail Nerdrum. David DeYoung. Shane Contreras. Abigail Kaplan. Ashley Whitehead. Shay Alley. Elijah Woodward. Justin Crooks. Casey Castles. Violet Clemens. Taya Johns. Wen Suko. Shelby McIntosh. Jared Killian. Hannah Clemens. Brooke Taylor. Rylan Robinson. Patricia Marshall. Travis Strobel. Wyatt Kimball. Hallie Rubio Aiken. Caden Pollard. Brianna Hoekstra. Olivia Lennon. Michaela Carter. Abigail Connor. Hallie Bradbury. From Serbia, Elena Kovacevic. Savannah Martin. Shayla Merrifield. Evan Hunt. Gabriel Rasmus. Elizabeth Garrett. Cheyenne Friddle. Alexander Edelblut. Carson Heim. Edward Nauman. Desiree Zito. Cassandra Keefe. Teresa Zomer. Kaylee Sawyer. Michaela Tanner. Nathan Eliason. Chloe Moreland. Gage Mattern. Sydney Stimson.
Sebastian, scoot back just a little bit, buddy.
Athena Baldwin.
Right there. Just stay right there, Tex.
Sebastian Bergeron. Hannah Dancero. Madison Badgett. Josie Sherman. Ashley Barton. Brenna Alexander. Aubriana Cook. Michaela Jones.
I have it right there if you need
Awesome.
it. Okay.
Thank you all for being here to take part in this special ceremony tonight. And thank you to those who worked really hard to make this happen. My name is Haley Tingy, and I'm honored to stand here before you as the senior class president of Lakeland High School. For years, my parents told me this would go by faster than I expected, and I guess just this once, I'll admit that they were right. As I look back on the past 4 years and all the many memories that we have made as a class, I'm so grateful that you were all a part of it. Many people look at this as an ending, but really it's a beginning. We are entering the part of our lives where we get to explore who we are and who we want to become. Steve Jobs once said, "If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle, as with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it." I sincerely hope that all of you keep pushing until you find what truly makes you happy. No one could have predicted that our senior year would end the way it did, but hey, we still made it. I'm so proud of all of you, and I couldn't have asked for a better class to be with here today. On that note, would everyone please move your tassel from the right side to the left? Friends and family, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the 2020 Lakeland High School graduates.
There you go. Nice job. I would call that a wrap.
About as smooth as it could go.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, really good. Went really well. Good? Yep, they did a great job. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Are we the last show for the night?
You're the last one. That's right.